this by-election out here. Thank you very much for coming out and showing an interest. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Stan Sakamoto, who we've got a bigger cheer than me, apparently. Stan, as you know, has been around a long time. He used to help out here at the college and indeed taught entrepreneurship here, so he understands the challenges facing young people. He's been all his life here in Medicine Hat, and I'm really hoping that he's going to be able to come to Ottawa and be a strong voice for Medicine Hat in Ottawa, because it's time this part of the world stops being taken for granted. I think one of the things that really is encouraging to me is to see the number of people who realize that elections don't have to be foregone conclusions. The fact that a particular community has voted one way for an awfully long time lends people to sort of take support for granted, and it's highlighted for me by the fact that no sitting Prime Minister has bothered to come meet people in Medicine Hat for almost 23 years. And I think what a lot of people and a lot of people across the country saw of our approach in the last election was that every corner of this country matters, and that how we build prosperity and how we create good jobs and how we respond to needs and concerns of people in every part of the country. We don't pick and choose the kinds of issues or parts that we want to run on and the kinds of parts of the country we want to ignore, and indeed make a real effort to reach out and connect with everyone is really important. And that's why I'm so optimistic about Stan's strong voice that he's going to put in service of Medicine Hat, Carson and Warner, and I know that all of you are going to get out and vote and make a difference. How's that? So you always do the first thing by showing a degree of interest and being able to come out and hear a politician speak this morning. The next step is making sure you vote in the advance polls. And the step after that, if you want to continue to be involved, is to step up in the remaining week of the campaign and see if you can volunteer, make a couple of phone calls, get involved in the political process. Because one of the things that I've heard all my life as I work around young people is that people tell me young people are apathetic and disconnected and they're cynical. And yes, sometimes young people can get pretty frustrated, but it's always because they care so much about the world and are frustrated they're not getting heard, that their views aren't being listened to, and they're not able to shape the future. Well, here's an opportunity to set out a marker and say, you know what, we do want to stop being taken for granted. We do want to shape the kind of future we're going to build. We do understand that good jobs in the future are going to rely on being smart about the environment. We need to get our resources to market. We need to do it in an intelligent way. And that's what this party is focused on. That's what my government is focused on. I want to come around and say hi to as many people as possible, but I'm not going to be able to hit everyone. So I do, and this wasn't planned, but I see a room full of young people, and I can't but say, let's take a few questions randomly from the audience. So does anyone have any questions for me? Yes, you, sir.
Trump or Hillary?
Okay. Not the first time I've been asked the question, and it actually does go to a really important part of my job. And one of the things that happens is when I came into office, I realized we had a strained relationship with the United States. We had a broken relationship with Mexico. We had a completely incoherent relationship with the world's second largest economy in China. And our international engagement was really on the rocks. So one of the things that I knew we had to do is fix those relationships. And why does it matter? Well, fixing the relationship with Mexico gives access to OTM beef for our ranchers. Fixing the relationship with China got access to both canola farmers, the canola shipments going through, and bone-in beef. And working with the United States allowed us to stop the country of origin labeling that was such a significant threat, and actually is creating greater trade opportunities. So I know how important it is to be able to work with whatever government is in place, and it's important that we not interfere with foreign elections, because Canadians expect me, no matter who they choose, to work in our interest, to create good jobs, to create economic opportunity, to protect our values and interests. But I'm a feminist, and my very first, when I was in university, my very first activism engagement was I was one of the early male members of the Sexual Assault Center of McGill Student Society, and it was 25 years ago. But it's still a big issue. So I think I've said enough for you to know exactly how I feel about what's going on down south. Dude.
I'm coming from an ed background, so I was just curious what your plan or perspective is regarding putting money into not only post-secondary, but education in general, and the supports needed in order to accommodate the needs of diverse learners for one, and the mental health needs of children.
Huge issues. Obviously, mental health, education, K-12 education, all issues that the federal government doesn't get to deal with directly. There are provincial areas of jurisdiction, and it's really important. I mean, you guys understand that here in Alberta. I'm a Quebecer, and I know how fierce people are about protecting provincial rights. But that doesn't mean that the federal government should be completely hands-off, or that we should just write a blank check and say, okay, fix it. We need to work collaboratively and respectfully to build the kind of inclusive economy, inclusive opportunities for everyone that really matters. That means making sure the kids are going to school on full bellies, that they're actually got a safe place to sleep at night, that parents are going to be able to be engaged in their learning, that the quality of schools accessible to everyone is of a high enough level that there aren't barriers and scarring that happens throughout their lives, that there aren't stunting for young people who grow up in difficult situations. And where the federal government does have a direct role to play is on Indigenous education, and that's why we've invested billions of dollars over the coming years and are going to be doing much more to make sure that we're giving every young person in this country an opportunity to succeed. And on mental health, it's something that's hugely important to me. Every family in this country has dealt with mental health issues. My mom has been incredibly courageous about her struggles and about destigmatizing it. And I wouldn't be my mother's son, and I am definitely my mother's son. And with pride, also my father's son, but people are figuring that one out too. The fact is that we need to address this issue in a partnership with the provinces, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to shorten my answers because there's a whole bunch of questions now. Yes, go ahead.
What kind of sustainability plans do you have not only for Alberta specifically, but for Canada?
Sustainability is all about making sure that future generations have both the opportunities for jobs, but also a protected environment, clean air, fresh water, lack of pollution that's going to be able to actually protect our families and our futures for the long term. So thinking long term means thinking about all sorts of different things at the same time. We know we need jobs. We know we need economic growth. But we also know that in the 21st century, you can't pretend there's a choice to be made between protecting the environment and building a strong economy. Indeed, being smart about protecting the environment actually leads to better jobs and better outcomes as we move to transition off fossil fuels. Now, that's not going to happen overnight, and we are going to need to continue to work very hard to get our energy resources to market, but the way that we do that will be by demonstrating world-class science, proper partnership with communities, and respect for Indigenous peoples, which the last government didn't do, and therefore couldn't get our resources to Tidewater because they have the wrong approach. We're changing our approach, and people out there are frustrated that we haven't done in 10 months what Stephen Harper wasn't able to do in 10 years. But I think we've demonstrated that we're working very hard for all our people to do for all Canadians. Okay, question from up top. Yes, you in the blue.
Do you have any plans for the Canadian space industry?
I think when we look at how an economy evolves, we have to understand that there are things that countries do well, there are things that other countries do well, and we have to look at what our advantages are. Where are our competitive advantages? If we could build big greenhouses and grow grapefruits all across Canada, and we'd be eating homegrown grapefruits, it wouldn't necessarily be the best use of our energy, of our industry, of our capacities. Where Canada excels is right here in this room, is in creative, forward-thinking, value-driven, educated citizens who are willing to work hard and contribute to their communities and to the world. And the best way to do that is to make sure you have the best quality education, that whatever industry or field you go in, whether it's our natural resources, whether it's STEM, science and technology, whether it's creative, teaching or anything, that you have the equipment and the knowledge to be able to be powerful drivers of change, of innovation, of opportunity for everyone. Because we know that success in Canada isn't a zero-sum game. When one person succeeds, that creates opportunities for their neighbors to succeed. And we don't have the same kind of competition that happens elsewhere. So, to answer your question about the space industry, I think high-value manufacturing, innovative science, pushing the limits of the top quality science, research, manufacturing that can happen around the world, demonstrating that Canadians are world-class in our approach to engage with that, is exactly what we need to do, whether it's aerospace, whether it's renewable energies, whether it's innovative programming, AI, driverless cars. There's a huge range of things that I know you guys are probably more up on than I am, and that's why I'm so optimistic about the future. Okay, last question from over here. Yes, you.
What are your government's plans to make it easier for international students to come to school?
One of the things I think we've demonstrated throughout our approach, and we've done it not because I think that being an open and welcoming society is important, but because Canadians have told me time and time again that we pride ourselves on understanding that openness to different perspectives, to different cultures, is actually a massive plus. But we also know at the same time that a big part of that success is that people who come to Canada get to integrate, get to get good jobs, get to contribute, get to grow the economy, and be part of the shared success that we're building. And that's something that Canada has done better than any other country in the world. So when we welcomed in now up to 31,000 Syrian refugees, it was not because I decided we were going to do it, but because Canadians said, we want to help, we want to do more, we know this will be part of the success. Well, one of the things that we've seen time and time again is bringing in international students who have experience here, who developed understanding of our culture, of our ability, who want to stay, are already have a leg up in terms of integration, in terms of success, in terms of opportunities. So we're very serious about looking at ways to make it easier for international students to continue to stay and to become Canadian. At the same time, however, there's a bit of a tension I have around this, is that I don't want to suck all the best and brightest out of countries around the world and have them only come to Canada. So we do need to make sure that we're creating opportunities and success through our development engagements, so we're not just taking the best and leaving the country with the most promising young people coming to Canada and never going home again. So getting that balance right is what being a responsible actor in the global community is all about. I could stand here all day, and I think you guys can see that. I'm loving this. This is probably my favorite thing to do. But I also know that a few people would maybe like to say hi. So I'm going to loop around the room like this and say hi to a few people. If you have a quick question for me while I do it, I'm glad to do it.
Thank you very much.